Really excited for the guys and an opportunity to go win a national championship and having a season that created the chance to be at home for our fans to experience a regional and a super regional, and then the victories of those two. A lot of good benchmarks to what happened in the last 4 or 5 months, and to start the season whatever it was 19-0, and to manage the difficult midweek stuff that we face here, manage the difficulty of the ACC. I think in the conversations throughout the course of the season, there's always the question of the ACC, the SEC, the strength of those leagues, and I think it played out remarkably well that it's split. Really good teams. Tennessee, exceptional program, very talented. They have been there. We faced them a couple years ago. They're dynamic. So we clearly have our work cut out. When you look at Friday, I'm so proud of what our players were able to do this year. I am thankful for our fans, for the animals, the atmosphere that was created here, the sincerity of engagement to pitch by pitch, involvement in our games is what separates this program. And I wish everybody that was here for the last 2 weekends could go with us to Omaha and experience this. It's a spectacle that's up there with Augusta, the Final Four, the national championship football game. What our guys will see when you roll in there tonight and tomorrow and on the way to the game Friday is truly just a remarkable spectacle in athletics, and it's very unique and rare. So I'm excited personally to do it, and then I'm excited for the guys to experience it. For myself, to have JT and NC State get back there, my wife is she was either going to be the happiest woman on the planet at 10 o'clock on Monday night or the most upset. So I survived, and NC State did it. So we get to go out there and be together for that. And they had a tough 2021 to have to load your son up from the back of the hotel we're going to be in for our team and tote him back to South Bend, Indiana during the COVID thing. And those guys getting booted out of the College World Series was one of the toughest experiences athletically, personally, and as a family we've had. So happy that we get to regroup out there, and that'll be a nice moment for us.
Coach, one of the things you mentioned was the animals and the fan support you guys have felt all season. What are you expecting? What are you looking forward to from the fans who do make the trip out to Omaha?
I'm excited for them to see what this is like. And it's a huge stadium, so you'll have 25,000+ people there, and they clear it out. So when you walk in there for the first time and that thing starts to fill up, it's really unique, and it's big, and it's a round, spacious venue. The city of Omaha opens up for this. They love this. I think it's one of the most unique sporting events you could ever attend. And the setup of the vendors and the people around the stadium and the restaurants and the bars and the atmosphere that's created because of how the stadium was built and the surrounding city is just awesome. So our fans will love every second of it, and I hope we can go play good baseball. You know, there's no chinks in the armor, any of the teams. You can look at the resumes and what they've accomplished to get to Omaha. Like, this is as good as it gets, and it's tough. College baseball has never been in a better position in terms of the talent, the age, the depth of these teams. So everybody that walks out, they're seeing the game played at the highest amateur level that it's ever been played at.
Coach, it's so vital to get off to a good start out there because of the format. Do you have a sense of what you want to do for your starting pitchers?
Yeah, they can just go shove and carve. That's what I want them to do. Jamie should be in good shape to open. Like, he had a real good bullpen today, so we'll probably go in that direction. And when you play every other day, it's different. Like, the format of this is different. You're used to the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday. Well, all of a sudden, you know it's Friday, Sunday. So the ability of the relief pitchers to bounce back is a huge difference in how this tournament is structured, and it's a big deal. So guys that throw a little bit on Friday, man, you're off Saturday, and they can rest and recover. And that goes for everybody. So it's not like that's an advantage solely for us, but it does change things a little bit. So then as it lengthens out, when can the starter that throws Friday, when can Jamie recycle and be used again? And then you look at Dorsey, and it's the same thing. But clearly, getting off to a good start is huge. And when he's on his game, he's as good as anybody I've ever seen. So we just need him on it. And the defense is different out here. Now, I will tell you that when we walk in that stadium today, I wanted the guys to see it. It's bigger. It's the wind changes things. There's days you can't hit a ball out of there from second base. There's other days when it's blowing straight out that balls do go out. But any way you slice it, the dimensions force the outfielders to run a lot of balls down. And when the wind is keeping the ball in the park, then it creates a little bit more for the outfielders because those balls that are really hit probably stay in. So we have to acclimate to that, and those three guys have to understand the dimensions and the wind and how that facility plays. It's different than most college venues, and I think the scoring in some of the regionals and super regionals at some of the college stadiums, the ball flies out of a lot of these places, and they're not big. So when you get out there, sometimes the games are a little bit different.
What are some things you can do to help the players who haven't been all the spectacle part of it, the extracurriculars?
Well, I did something I'd never really done. I sat in the legacy room yesterday, and we drew up a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday itinerary, which they usually have on the Teamworks program. But that's kind of moment by moment, and you have to scroll through it. So Sean put together a 3-day one-pager, and he snapped a picture of it. So we sat those guys down before practice, and I said, all right, here's what you're going to do. Your phones are out. I said, you copy that, and you send it to your parents right now. So here's the itinerary of what's going on. Okay, and then we talked about the ticketing policy because I think each athlete gets 6 tickets. So it's coming at you in a lot of different directions that you don't experience when you're just playing a normal Friday game here. So I tried to get ahead of the external stuff that they're going to face so they can channel it a little bit more, because I don't want them to have to deal with a lot of questions and a lot of turbulence Thursday and Friday leading up to the game. I want to try to take care of that now and tomorrow morning, and then you start to feel more comfortable with the preparation for Tennessee. So we've done that. I always try to set aside 20 minutes, so when we land, we're going to go right to the stadium, and everybody can walk in there, and I think that takes the edge off. The practice Thursday is wild. There's just so many people on the field, and you get 50 minutes to practice. So you're out there and you stretch, and it's over. And there's so many questions and microphones and cameras and things going on around you that Thursday becomes a blur. So going in there today just to take a look and sense the dimensions and what the dugouts and the bullpens are like, I think that has really helped. And there are other things that you have to deal with your team photos and the press conferences and ESPN trying to do stories on the team. So Thursday becomes lengthy, so I'm trying to prepare them for that. And then hopefully Friday becomes more normal.
About a year ago, you got commitments from a number of transfers who their vision was to help you in the program, but also get to Omaha. Now they're going to get to realize that. Just the commitment they made, again, about a year ago to you all, and now they get to enjoy this.
This is how you draw it up. And you have to get the right people in the program. The transfer stuff, there's 4,300 players, I think, in the portal right now. And we're clearly in play for a lot of those guys that would have interest in coming to Florida State. It doesn't mean you can take everybody that has interest. You can't take every good player. You have to try to get the right guys. And we did that. And had we been completely healthy all year, I think you might even have a different feel going into this. But I bet if you ask the other 7 coaches, they're probably not healthy either. So you have to create enough depth to cover yourself, and getting some local guys and some area guys back involved in this. I think the pride they have in trying to get on this bus, to get on the plane, to land in Omaha, I think it goes a long way. So I'm proud of what we were able to do to try to get it right. And we're facing the same thing right now. I'm not going to act like the recruiting is not a big deal right now. Like, we're doing the same stuff right now. My morning, my night, all week. You have visits and phone calls, and it's a challenge. It is really tough on coaching the team and trying to manage the program. Because if you don't get it right now for next year, you don't want to backpedal. And the world we're in is whitewater. It's talent warfare. It's facility warfare to try to continue to build and move. And we need to keep doing it. But this time last year, you tried to fill some of the spots that you knew you needed. And we did it with quality kids, which adds to the talent, and I think you see the result.
Let's go two more. What as awful as parts of last year were, are there things that the guys have been able to draw upon, you've been able to draw upon this year in terms of just whether it's strengthening resolve or were there any positives to it?
Well, every day you're doing this, you learn. And last year you learned through some very difficult moments in a team that had so many young players. So you're learning and you're trying to stay positive with things. You're recruiting. You're trying to develop Cam Smith and Jamie Arnold, Tibbs and Ferrer and these other guys that you knew would be contributors. And that was what it was. There's really nothing I can do to change what happened last year other than try to build a roster and put the returning guys in the best possible position moving forward. So what did I learn from that? What did we learn? You learn how important roster management and building in this era of college athletics. And you can go talk to Mike Norvell, and it's the same thing. How you manage and acquire and get the talent into the program lays the foundation for how you build culture, how you practice, the structure of the calendar. So you learned through some difficult moments last year, and I think it probably galvanized some of those young kids that went through it that returned as much more experienced, seasoned players this year.
Coach, thoughts about with Marco and the journey that he's come from TCC to here now. Just thoughts about his growth and everything he's overcome.
Resilient, dynamic. What he went through medically was over the top, and he's fortunate that he was able to recover, and the body recovered, and he regained his form. And he's just a dynamic, fun kid. He's fun to have around, and it's a dynamic bat. It's a dynamic personality. He's a great kid. So this has been really fun personally to watch him evolve and grow. I think he's positioned himself really well for the next level of baseball and what's looming when we get to the draft in a month. So he's awesome, and he's a functional catcher. He did so well DHing, and we clearly have other capable catchers that we kind of just let that go. But I'm so proud of what he overcame and what he's done and the foundation he's laid himself here that's going to help him when the draft rolls around in a month. We good?